Hi everyone, it's March 28th, Wednesday. Woohoo! It's getting warm. We're in for another couple of days of rain. It's been windy, cold, dark. We're just in this slog of March. Just never really wanted to get off to a very warm start, but it's March and April looks like it's going to start in again with more rain and clouds. So we get a little bit of a break. It's not really blue sky, but it's not raining, so that's good. And it is warm. The greenhouse is about 70, so it is nice in here. So what I'm doing is I just came out to check on my strawberry plants that I potted up a couple of weeks ago. I have a few more that need to get potted up, so I need to do that. But these guys are really doing well, so I will show you the update on here. And I got a couple of plants that I'm just checking on. I got a couple of hydroponic things started that I need to get my hydroponic cracky system up and running. I'm going to try to do that this afternoon. And I need to clear my bench off, and there's just a bunch of tidying up that I need to do that I just haven't had a chance to do. The soil, which is going to be a little blip here shortly. Sunday I was checking on my tomatoes that I had potted up on the 14th of March, and when I potted them up, the soil smelled really strong of bark. Some potting mix that I got from my one of my local stores. It's not a big box chain. It's a small, I think there's only 10 stores on the West Coast, and it's their special blend. There's the vermiculite in it and very fine soil. This year it smells a little bit more like bark, so they might have a little bit more bark in it than they usually do. I don't remember last year it's smelling quite this strong. Hopefully it's not gonna affect the plants too. And soil, bag soil, should not have that real like beauty bark smell that you get, you know, when you buy a truckload of bark to put in your yard. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. I really wasn't paying attention. That was my bad. And everything was growing except for what I had potted on and in that new soil. So I went back Sunday afternoon after we did the raised bed build, and that's why my husband was building pretty much by himself, because I was in my potting shed potting up all my plants that I had potted 2 weeks prior. Disappointed. I knew way back when I was potting on my tomatoes, when I opened that bag of soil, that it really smelled strong of bark. And potting soil shouldn't smell really super strong of bark, because that means it's not rotted down well enough. And I potted my tomatoes on anyway, and they are struggling, and I'm feeding them, and the nitrogen is just locked up in that bark. It just can't be released, and the tomatoes are suffering from it. I've never had potting soil from that company bad before. I used it last year and it was fine, and so I bought some more this year, but it's going back. In the bag that I opened, I'm just going to go spread it out in my garden, and it can rot down the rest of the year. So the bags that I bought are going back. The other place that I buy my potting soil from, they have never let me down. And I bought 8 bags last weekend. I think they had their potting soil on sale, and that's when I bought it. And I just opened up their bag. I was worried, thinking, oh my goodness, you know, do they get them, do they source the same place or whatever? And evidently they do not source the same place, because I opened it up, and I'll show you the differences in the two potting soils. It is potting soil. It smells like earth. It smells good. There is no strong wood chip smell. It smells earthy. And I'll show you the difference even in the color. The color of the potting soil that I potted up 2 weeks ago is red. You can still see the bark in it. It's slivers. I have slivers all over my hands. I was using gloves when I was potting my tomatoes up, but I have slivers from just messing with it right now. I do not get slivers from the other bark or the other potting soil. So I'm going to show you the differences in the two, and I learned my lesson. If I smell really strong wood chip smell and bark smell, I'm going to take it back instead of potting it up. So my tomatoes now are going to get repotted in the good soil. It's going to put them behind by another week, but it's so cool out anyhow, I'm not going to be able to bring them out in my yard for another 4 weeks anyway. So here's the difference in the potting soil. Let's see if I can just move it up here. I'm just going to show you just a little bit. You can tell the difference right now. This I just pulled out of the bag. This is my last week's potting soil that I'll show you. that I smelt, and it smelt really, in fact, I can smell the bark in it right now. It is just very, very strong of bark. And when I'm doing this, the bark is smelling up, almost like the bark that you get in the beauty bark that you put in your yard. But it is not broke down at all. It's not retaining the water either. I'm watering constantly, and it's just drying out really super fast. But it really, I mean, it smells pretty, but it's not good potting soil. Now, the other stuff that I just pulled out of the bag, this is nice. This is the consistency. It's dark. It's rich. There is no no bark smell to this at all. Let me move my camera a little bit. And when I'm putting my hands and I'm squeezing it, there is no slivers. These I get slivers from. This, there's no slivers. This has no bark smell at all. It just smells earthy. It smells clean, it smells fresh, and it smells good. There are some twigs in it, which are fine. Now, I'm going to try something here if I can get my camera to set up right. This is my sieve that I use. Now, I'm going to take some of this bark and I'm going to sieve it. And what you see in here is there's a lot of bigger chips that you can, they're not even broke down yet. Now when I sieve this, this is coming out. This is dark, and when you break them, it breaks with no problem. They're crumbly, and you get a really fine soil. This, you can tell, it's just pieces of bark. There's just two differences. I'm very, very disappointed in this other soil. And like I said, it's going back. It's just dry. I've watered it and moistened it, and it just will not hold the moisture. This, you can tell, is holding the moisture. So on Monday, I took all the soil back, got my money back for it, and I just wanted to come out and check how my tomatoes looked, and I'll show a little picture of it. And there's a picture of the tomatoes recovering. Now, it hasn't even been 3 full days yet. It's by about 7 o'clock tonight, it will actually be 3 full days. But you can already tell that the plants have recuperated. You can see the yellow on the original seed leaves, and then the new leaves that were yellow are all in the 3 days that they've been potted into the good soil. And I kept 2 tomato plants in the old junky soil that I had purchased, just to see what they're doing. And they are still stunted, and they're still yellow. And and I'm doing the same thing. They're on the heat mats, they're on the same lights, they're sitting right next to the other tomatoes, the same type of tomato, and they're getting fed the same everything, but they just cannot absorb the nutrients that they're being fed, because the soil is just leaching everything from them, because the soil is still degrading down to what it needs to be. Okay, so Sunday I went ahead, and that's my pak choy, and that's some lettuces that I went ahead and put in the hydro formula that I have, and these are just in little net cups, and they're just sitting drinking up the hydroponic formula until I can get them in the cracky system. I potted on all my baby lettuces. These are going to actually go out into my garden, because I do both. I plant into my garden and I do my hydroponics too. My sweet peas, they all came up. I am really pleased. I don't think I got aced out of any pot. I actually have sweet peas in each pot, and my English daisies and my stock. All this needs to be potted on. This is what I really do need to do. I need to get out here and get all this potted on. The leeks are growing with no problem. And the rest of my sweet peas, every pot has sweet peas coming up. These are my Morning Glory. Morning Glory are doing great. I did get aced out of a couple Morning Glory. I wasn't too sure about that, but that was fine. Let's see here. What are these? I think these are, these are my chives. Chives are doing good. They need to be watered. Now these are my strawberries. The strawberries are doing awesome. They're They're coming into their own. Lots of strawberries on them. Let me get around here. So I'm knocking everything down. Here's another one. They're doing just great. And the flowers are coming up. Doing good. This one needs a little bit more soil. The soil has set, so I need to get some more soil out. And so I can't remember what I potted in there. Nothing has come up. I need to see if I can see what seed I put in there. But my verbascum is doing good. It is drying out a little bit, so I need to get some water in here. That's what I need to do today. I need to water. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give these guys a quick drink, go in, and probably pot up my stock today. And what else do I have? Oh, and then the rest of the strawberry pots. I need to get those potted up because in the kitchen they're about as big as these guys. They don't have no flowers on them yet, but they're nice and sprouted. So I need to get those done too. So have a great day, and happy days and happy gardening. And spring is slowly but surely hopefully getting here. We got another rainy week, but you know, April showers bring May flowers. Have a good one. Bye.